was a very special woman in my life when I was younger. Everyone that met her loved her. She was my best friend, and I could play with her for hours. She was involved in community activities. She was an artist. She wrote many novels and poems, and she loved her family unconditionally. Her name was Sally Rickerson, but I called her Maymon. She was my grandmother. Maymon had a rough childhood, but grew up to be the mother of 7 children that she loved very much. From those 7 children, she had 17 grandchildren. That is one of the most important things that she passed on and left us. Family must come first. She loved us how you can learn from bad experiences and become stronger from them. She loved us, all of us, and was able to make each of us feel like we were special and her favorite. Of course, I was. I would spend a lot of nights with my grandmother. Like I said earlier, she was an artist. She had a big round table that she did her paintings on. I used to love to put a blanket or a sheet across the table and let it drape over the sides. This was my very own special hideaway. I could peek out from underneath and see what was going on, and nobody could see me. She would give me blank palettes and let me paint or color on them. Even though I was very little, she would always tell me that they were the most amazing paintings. I was always so proud when she would hang or display one of them next to hers. Maymon was a very special, dedicated person to the community. She would take her bad experience and use them to help other people. One of these was that she became a volunteer at the Battered Women Task Force. I didn't really know what that was when I was little. I just knew that she would have women in her home that was very sad and hiding from someone. She would let them stay until they could get a job and get on at their own place to live. They were always a lot happier when they left. That was what she could do to make them happy. I don't think I would be in college today if it wasn't for my grandmother. I had a lot of trouble when I first started school. She sat with me and worked with me for hours and hours. She truly taught me how to learn. I went from being held back in kindergarten to being on the honor roll when I was older. All of it was because of the things she taught me. To me, my grandmother was the smartest person ever. My grandmother was also a writer. She wrote many poems and novels. Her stories were mostly science fiction or fantasy type books. This meant I had the best storyteller in the whole world. She didn't have to read me a story to go to sleep. She would just make it up as she talked. I still remember a lot of them. The day my grandmother died was the worst day for me I ever had. It didn't take me long, even as a young boy, to realize that I could still hear her when I was going to sleep at night. I have some paintings hanging in my room. I still use her lessons in the way that I live my life. The greatest lesson she taught me is that when somebody dies, they really are not forgotten. I think about her often, and when I have a bad day or a happy day, sometimes I think I can hear her cheering me on or telling me how proud she is of me. My grandmother helped me shape into who I am today. My goal is to always make her proud.